Has a lot of, like, I didn't realize that I hire was in
No.
you know what I mean? Technically,
It was for us. It was really stupid. I'm in some position I can't blame her.
yeah.
I remember very stupid.
Yeah, they should change the budget.
Clearly, clearly it's a good strategic move on their part. And that was like, so,
Yeah.
it's cool.
That would be crazy turn your phone flash.
That would have been fun.
Today's one of those sad press conferences that you have. Last Friday, parents and this community experienced probably one of the greatest fears that a parent or a community can have, and that's the loss in a tragic accident of a 3-year-old. And I will use that word again, an accident. There was nothing intentionally done by anybody that caused the death of this 3-year-old. Amari, I'm going to put Amari's picture up here. As you see, she's a bright, smiling, energetic 3-year-old who was home last Friday. Her parents had taken another child to a doctor's appointment, and there was an adult left in the house with Amari. At some point, Amari went outside. She just opened the door and went outside. Was in the yard for a little bit, and then there was a vehicle that was parked in the yard that was not operable, and the doors were unlocked. She opened the door, and she went into the vehicle and closed the door. And the heat that she experienced is what caused her death. The parents came home, could not find Amari in the house, called 911 frantically looking for her. Our deputies arrived. They started searching. They found Amari in the vehicle. Our deputies did not wait for EMS. They knew that if they were going to save her life, that they needed to do something immediately. So you had 2 deputies that started life-saving measures, CPR, with her immediately. They put her in the back of a patrol car while they continued to work on her. Another deputy drove the car. We had other deputies that basically escorted her to the hospital, trying to get there. The whole time, though, they were working on her in the back of the car. Unfortunately, it was too late at that point. I know the community and people always create different scenarios. Well, did the parents leave her in the car unattended? Who's going to be arrested? None of that's going to happen. This was a tragic accident. These parents loved this little girl. She loved playing with bubbles. They wanted me to talk about that today, that she was just a perfect little 3-year-old child, loved playing with bubbles. But they also don't want her life to be in vain. They want people to remember Amari for something that may help somebody else. And it kind of goes what I say all the time about keeping your vehicles locked. And her parents wanted me to emphasize today to everybody, keep your vehicles locked, even those who are not running and you're not using, or the ones that you are driving. It's real simple. If you're not in it, just push that little button, lock the door. That may have saved Amari's life, but we can't go back hindsight and fix it at this point. But they want people to understand that can be prevented. They want people to remember Amari for that smile, not what happened on Friday, but as an educational point for everybody to realize it can happen, and it can happen fast. Anybody who's ever had a 3-year-old knows how quick they can run, how fast they are, what they can do, and things that you might not think they can do, they can do. How do we know this happened? It's all on video. And no, I'm not going to share the video. I'm not going to share the pictures. There's no benefit in doing that. The community doesn't need to see it. The family's seen them, and that's the most important ones. They've seen what happened. And our investigators who work the case, they've seen it too. But what I'm telling you is what's on film, is what we've seen and what we can verify. It was just a tragic accident that happened last Friday. And let's just hug your kids, take care of them, lock your doors. If there's a message today, is that lock your doors. You could save somebody's life. The heat is here. It doesn't take long. Doesn't take long at all as the summer comes. So let's lock our doors all the time. Questions?
How long was she in the car for?
Not very long. Doesn't take long.
But what's not very long?
I'm not going to give you minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't figured out the seconds how long, but we know they watched her get into the vehicle and the door closed. Nobody assisted her. She did it on her own. And again, you leave here today, it's hot today. Imagine if you don't start your car before you get there, it's going to be hot when you get in it. Just imagine that you're a child and how hot it is. That car's probably hot to begin with, and then if you're in there, just what it's going to do to you.
Sheriff, did she manage to lock the car from the inside, or was it unlocked when the deputies?
It wasn't locked. I mean, she was able to open the door and get in and close the door, but wasn't able to open the door. Again, talking about a 3-year-old. Just imagine the terror that 3-year-old went.
Sheriff, in the media advisory for the press conference today, it mentioned shooting of another child.
We'll talk about that in just a second. Let's talk about this one. Does anybody else got any questions about Amari?
Was the video on a Ring doorbell camera? Where is that from?
We have it.
No, but I mean, like, where?
We have it. It was someone that it was recorded. Okay.
Did the family ever mention to you about funeral arrangements for Amari?
No, I haven't heard that at this point. We're working with them. You can just imagine how traumatic this is. So we're working with them, and we will continue to help them. They're victims. The victims in this. They lost their daughter, and so just like our deputies who experienced a traumatic experience, their experience even worse. And so we're going to help them out as much as we can to make sure that we do everything that we can for them.
And it's Armani? Like I was on the...
Yeah. All right, we're good on that? All right, second thing is this morning about 3 o'clock, we had a drive-by shooting in a northeast neighborhood. This is the second one that's occurred in this neighborhood. The first one happened in March. We had a 9-year-old that was hit by a stray bullet. It was not the intended target whatsoever. There was numerous houses that were hit. Fortunately, this child was hit. The child, my understanding, is going to survive. We were able to work the first one back in March. We're not able to make any arrests at this point, but that was still a very active investigation, and we're very actively investigating it now. We have some leads that I'm not going to discuss, but we have a team of investigators that are working it. And, these cowards who ride through neighborhoods and shoot at each other and end up shooting innocent people, they're going to be arrested. They just give us a little bit of time. They're going to be apprehended. I've talked to some of the homeowners out there, the homeowner association president, and told them some things that we're going to do with a little bit higher visibility until these arrests are made, just to put the citizens and residents there on ease. They're very upset, and they should be. Just again, I stand here and talk a lot of times about young people with guns who just do not care. And if I had to guess, I imagine this is going to be some young people that we're going to arrest, and it's going to be the same thing. They don't care. They get in gunfights or start shooting at one target and spray bullets all over the place, and they don't care where those bullets go. And here we have a 9-year-old that's been shot, that just in its house, sleeping, and gets hit by a bullet. That's just, one, it's not acceptable, and it's not going to be tolerated, and some people are going to go to jail, whoever's responsible for it. Questions?
How many houses were hit?
I don't have the number, but it was numerous houses. This, where we found some shell casings is one street over from where the 9-year-old was shot. Again, when they spray those bullets, they don't care what's behind it. They don't care what their sight pattern, as we call it, is behind where they're shooting. They don't care. They're just shooting bullets. And this is a result of it. And that's why these people need to be caught, and that's why they need to be held accountable, is these drive-by shootings are dangerous. This is a great example of that. We've had other drive-by shootings where we've had innocent children shot, we've had innocent children killed, and we've had adults killed. That's didn't have anything to do with anything except that bullet came at them. So we need to hold them accountable, and I would hope the court systems starts feeling that way also. That, you know, when we arrest these people, we know what they've done. We know the danger that they've put people in. You know, when they go to court, then they present it in such a different way. You know, they need to be presented in the way that they are. And that's a bunch of cowards out here indiscriminately just shooting bullets and innocent people getting hit.
I have some questions from, I don't know if you were done.
Go ahead.
I have some questions from the residents. They were very concerned about getting a shot spotter in this neighborhood. What is the process of getting one put up in this neighborhood, if there is one to be put up in the neighborhood?
Lots of money. It's lots of funding. What they're getting is they're getting cameras in the neighborhood. They were already in the process of doing that, so there will be cameras there. The cameras will probably help us more than what the shot spotter would help us in cases like this. So this was previously requested by the owners there. It's just they're probably a couple of weeks away before the cameras are up.
Sheriff, how alarming is it to you that kind of the increase of presence of children being involved on both sides of these crimes, as the ones committing them and then being victims?
It's very alarming. I've been standing up here for quite some time now talking about kids with guns. You know, I get asked what's the top 3 problems that we've got, and the answer is simple: kids with guns, kids with guns, and kids with guns. We're seeing it. We just, about a week or so ago, we saw 3 kids involved in a stolen truck in a neighborhood in northeast Columbia, where one of them pulls a gun on our deputy. Off of Rosewood Drive, same type thing. These kids have guns and they don't care. That's what I've been talking about for quite some time. So yeah, it's very alarming.
Do you think any of these drive-by shootings are gang-related at all?
I don't know. What we see a lot of times is just, and I'm not saying this with this case, it's just somebody being disrespected on social media. You know, you said something about somebody I know or somebody I like on social media, so I'm going to go shoot your house up. And, you know, you made me mad. You know, I'm going to go shoot your house up. You know, that's how conflict, and I don't even know if this is even conflict, you know, that's how it gets handled these days, is with people shooting in houses, shooting into cars, just running around here like a bunch of gangsters, just shooting bullets and don't care. That's the biggest scary thing about this, is they don't care. You catch them, they don't care.
Would you maybe encourage people to get like Ring doorbell cameras or something like that? I mean, if something like this were to happen in their neighborhood, at least they would have something to try to help you guys out.
Yes, yes. Ring door. I'm not selling ring door cameras. Ring door cameras, surveillance cameras, whatever you get. Every neighborhood needs to have some type of surveillance cameras as people come in and out of that neighborhood. That's the world we live in now. Unfortunately, that is. Those help us out tremendously. And I will say the residents in this community where this shooting happened are working with us very closely. And so they're helping us out as much as they can. You know, again, we've got some leads, and our investigators are following those leads, and I'm confident that some people are going to go to jail.
Is there a connection between this one and the one earlier in the year?
That is a very strong possibility. It is.
Sheriff, is there any way that you could release
the neighborhood name?
It was in the 1000 block of Turtle Stone Road.
I know you mentioned about kids with guns. What would you say would be the solution for kids having guns, and how can you solve that?
Well, one, we got to educate them that a gun's not going to get you but one or two places, either the cemetery or prison. You know, got to educate them on that. And then we got to hold those that are accountable that are going out here with these guns and doing these shootings. They need to be held accountable. Everybody says, oh my God, they're poor little kids. They're 14, 15, 16 years old. They kill somebody, that person's still dead. It doesn't matter if they're killed by a 14-year-old, if they're killed by a 44-year-old. You know, they need to be held accountable. And justice needs to be swift and it needs to be just. And that's part of the criminal justice system that we need more help on.
With this increase in violent crimes among young people, do you think that there needs to be more young people charged as adults?
Yeah. And even if they're not charged as an adult and they're charged in juvenile, they still need to be held accountable a lot more than what they are. You know, slapping them on the wrist and saying, please, oh, don't do it again. We see the same ones going out and doing the same thing over and over. Times have changed, you know, and I don't know if our society and the criminal justice system has changed with the times that on how young these violent criminals are. You know, we still want to call them kids. They're kids that are doing adult crimes and killing people and killing each other. And that's what we see, is that they kill each other. Not so much they're killing a grown adult, they're killing each other. You know, we're going to lose a generation to gun violence. Either they're going to be in prison or they're going to be in the cemetery. That's got to stop. Thank y'all.